Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And once more, guys, we're giving away 500 XRP, and all you have to do to enter is make sure you press the like button, make sure you are subscribed with the notification bell on, and make sure you comment down below what your favorite cryptocurrency is. And also, guys, when was the first time you bought crypto? Maybe also put that down below. Your comment is your entry ticket, do not forget. Alright guys, today I want to quickly revisit the US dip clock, as it's something that really a lot of people are forgetting. Alright, and the reason I'm saying that is because we talked about this a couple of days ago, yet still I don't really see many comments talking about how this is just ridiculously huge in the aggregate, right? And in comparison to the world dip, it's still ridiculously huge in aggregate. It's really crazy. All right, and one of the reasons I'm showing you guys this is because of some of the videos I've been making earlier today and yesterday. And again, you also got to look at this number right here. US federal debt to GDP ratio. Right now, the federal debt to GDP ratio is 136%, meaning the debt is so ridiculously high in comparison to any year before. So it's really double or even triple, maybe even like quadruple, even more than that, than what it has ever been, which is really scary. And one of the reasons I'm saying that is not just because I want to let you guys over in the US know how much you are kind of screwed, but mostly because I want to relate it to some other numbers, and mostly because I want to relate it to some other theories and things I've been talking and thinking about here that, again, I want to share with you guys. So one of these points that I have to make before we get into it is a big market crash, like you see in Bitcoin, where prices fall 40 or so percent. Even though many are expecting it to happen in stocks, it won't ever happen in one day. All right, and it's actually a very big misconception. I've had some talks with investors and fellow friends even, who sometimes tell me like, yeah, but what if stocks were to fall 60 or 70% in a day, or things like that? Well, there's something which actually prevents that from happening, which are called circuit breakers. Circuit breakers now mean that any major crash event would happen in slow motion. The most the markets can fall in a single day is now 20%, because the markets would then close at the point of the day. However, as we saw earlier this year, there are also circuit breakers that can pause trading at 7% and also at 13% daily declines. This makes market freefall due to trading imbalances less likely. Hence, the sort of technical selling we saw in 1987 may not be less likely to cause such an extreme crash, or at least it would take a couple of days to play out and could then be preempted by circuit breakers. So basically, one of the points there that's important to know is that one big crash, like you can see in crypto here, and again, there's a bigger story here if you want to know about it, is really not that likely to happen, all right? Just a big crash, because there would be some things happening up front. Then I saw this article here. Trump tweets, executive order for payroll tax cuts, student loans, evictions, unemployment benefits still in play. And the reason this one is actually important is because this is just all adding to the uncertainty that people have been having. He said on Twitter, upon departing the Oval Office for Ohio, I have notified my staff to continue working on an executive order with respect to payroll tax cut, eviction protections, unemployment extensions, and student loan repayment options. Well, the tweet on itself sounds really good, right? However, why are they needed? Why is this so important? Why is this going on? Well, first of all of this that we're seeing right now has to do with stimulus packages. You got to understand that, you got to know. Right? And whenever we're talking about stimulus packages, we're talking about some massive QE. We're talking about a huge sum of money getting pumped into the economy. Earlier, I've explained why it could be very positive for Ripple and XRP if these things were to hop on. But you'll see in a second why I'm saying that. Unsustainable deficits. This is an article from 2009 on the Wharton website. Unsustainable deficits. With the prospect of an economic recovery starting by the end of 2009, the biggest threat to the dollar, according to some observers, is the shift from reckless consumer spending during the housing bubble to unprecedented levels of government spending. While aggressive intervention was initially necessary to prevent a global economic collapse, experts warn of federal deficits that could lead to a long-term decline in the dollar. Indeed, the Congressional Budget Office, projecting a cumulative 10-year deficit of $9 trillion by 2019, or 5% of GDP, said long-term deficits driven partly by Medicare and Social Security were unsustainable and would reduce the nation's economic growth. Well, the only part you have to fetch from all of this is that back in 2019, they knew that, or 2009, they knew that a lot of this QE and a lot of this putting in money would have a very, very long-term effect on the US dollar, and a very, very negative one indeed as well. It would hurt it so bad for the longest period of time because too much money would be in. Now, a little bit earlier, we saw some of the comments from Trump after, again, putting in $6 trillion because he just advertised Bitcoin after doing that. The traditionally Bitcoin-averse Trump accidentally painted a rosy picture of sound money after endorsing meddling in the dollar supply. And by the way, the reason they're saying it like that is because he's definitely not been seeing crypto as something so good. First of all, he's been seeing it as a threat, like for criminals and all of that, but also for, I guess, China and the big war that's going on. But here's another one. Donald said Bitcoin is based on thin air, but Wall Street is buying en masse. Again, we'll get into that in a little second. Trump views crypto as a threat, proposes countermeasures in a new budget. To quote, technological advancements in recent decades, such as crypto and the increasing interconnectedness of international financial marketplace, have resulted in more complex criminal organizations and revealed stronger links between financial and electronic crimes and the financing of terrorists and rogue state actors, which again is something to keep in the back of your head. These resources would enhance FinCEN's protection of data collected under the Bank Security Act, which would increase its value. Again, we're talking about money laundering things. Law enforcement agencies and expand its efforts to combat emerging virtual currency and crime, cybercrime threats. All right. Having said that, though, and you've got the feeling a little bit, let's dive a little bit more deeper into that one. Because Trump said, it is our money, we are the ones, it is our currency. After pumping $6 trillion. To quote once more, the beautiful thing about our country is $6.2 trillion because it is 2.2 plus 4, it's 6.2 trillion, and we can handle that easily because of who we are, what we are, he said. It's our money, we are the ones, it's our currency. And I think that's actually really, really scary that he said that. Even though this is not the newest stuff, it is really, really scary that he said that. Why? Because from this point on forward, you can actually kind of understand that it's kind of scary to see that he and them over there printing so much money are also labeling it as their currency, because some are like, well, it's really, it's really kind of, if you lose faith in the country then, or faith in the system, and it's really your currency, just like you're kind of saying, then we also got to lose faith in the currency. Even though it's really logical, because, well, the dollar is only worth what the institution behind it is worth, because, I mean, all that dollar comes from is the faith in the system, like the Fed and the government. However, here's another thing I like to talk about here. At the bottom, Caitlin Long, the ex-Goldman Sachs executive who subsequently pioneered friendly Bitcoin regulatory approaches in Wyoming, described the monetary intervention as killing capitalism. Well, one fun part, which I don't have open right now, is that Goldman Sachs also was never that positive on crypto in anything that I've seen, right? Not that bullish ever. But right now, they're also hopping into crypto, right? We were looking that they were trying to create their own coin right now, or at least they're looking into it. And I think the same will happen for the Fed here. I mean, CBDC and all those talks have been going on for a longer while, but really getting into crypto heavier, I think, is also an option that's right now on the table that wasn't really there before. Now, you might be wondering, why am I telling you guys all of this, right? Why am I talking so much about Trump, his ideas, and the institution? Well, that is something that I'll be explaining more in my next video of today about the $10,000 per XRP type of price prediction and talks, because really it's a lot about the institution behind it, right? It's a lot about the institution, it's a lot about the reserve currency, it's a lot about how the banking system will operate and really how we value things, but I'll get later into that. For right now, it's more important to understand that I think, first of all, that the system is collapsing piece by piece, all right? And I think everybody's actually starting to notice it right now. And a lot of what was talked about in 2009 that they didn't want to happen is also happening right now. A lot of that stuff. Then combining it with a lot of the stuff we've been seeing earlier about, yes, a lot of these Wall Street guys buying into crypto, and also Jeff Bezos maybe causing another crash in the normal stock market. It could all follow the plan that we've been kind of describing in the last couple of days. At least it's looking so like it. And again, what that plan is Right now, it's looking like the big institution of the US, at least maybe the Federal Reserve or at least the world reserve currency status, is falling apart. Again, in terms of years, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because right now it's been already 100 years and the average is about 95. So it would make a lot of sense if between now and 10 years, the US would be done being the Federal Reserve currency or the world reserve currency. However, most of the time it's in the place which has the strongest currency, not the strongest in terms of price, the strongest in terms of, like, I would say, global economy, right? And just the best position for the world reserve currency, the best currency to make everything be measured in. And my guess, as of this point, is that it would be the Chinese yuan after this. However, with the big threats between the US and China, I think it would make such a big war if it were to be China, that maybe that's not going to be the case. However, it does look a lot like it because that's such an emerging market and they're doing so well. At this point, though, like we saw here, Trump's 2021 budget proposal seeks to optimize crypto policy. To a certain degree, I'm also thinking maybe a lot of the talks we've been going on about are not as realistic as we think they are, because maybe Trump is actually gonna, or maybe the US is actually gonna open up a lot more to crypto than we thought. And what would happen at that point is, right now, crypto are like these vague, anti-society, I guess capitalism kind of, it is capitalism, but it's like anti-traditional system types of things. And if the US, or any country for that matter, were to really adopt crypto heavily and be like, yeah, Bitcoin is the stuff, then maybe it would stop being such a thing away from the government, but really be something it's working with. And maybe then it would also lose its inverse correlation status. At this point, I would say crypto like XRP would do extremely well if the US were to fall. Extraordinarily well. And why is that? Because the banking system would fall with it, because as explained before, interest rate would most likely go below zero, which maybe could kill the banking system altogether, which would make people realize how annoying it is to send money and how frictionful, which leaves them with no other option than to hop onto a sort of Ripple-y partnership. And maybe if the Ripple, since it's really the back line and not the front line, it's not going to do that much since the bankings are gone, the banks, a lot of people will most likely hop onto XRP to utilize it because it's just so much more efficient than any other thing you could think about. That's what I'm thinking about here. Another one is, if the banking system were to fall, I think a lot will rely on cash, but since maybe the banking system will fall when the US also falls, the US dollar becomes worthless, and so we're going to talk about the next currency or the next thing, and depending on how things roll out, maybe XRP will become another, or really important currency for that matter. And again, the reason I'm talking about it later today as well is because I want to explain to you guys why $10,000 per coin is not as crazy as it sounds, all right? In the current way the world is, it is impossible to get there, all right? Not impossible, but like a 0 point, then put 100 nulls, 1% chance. And the main reason for that is the market cap and just the amount of money that will be tied up in XRP is really just too large for it to really occur naturally. Like, there would be maybe the US, if they were to put all their money into XRP, then it could happen. But the chance of that happening is very small, right? And that would be very strange. However, what is possible is more so a theory where everything gets noted in XRP as a world reserve currency. And again, I'll explain that theory later, as I think it's important to understand, because otherwise all these talks about high prices sound ridiculous to you, which I can understand. And the reason I'm showing you guys all these articles is because I think Donald, and really the US, is really on the verge of something big here. I think Jeff Bezos knows about it. I think Warren Buffett knows about it by buying into these banks. Binance knows about it by possibly buying some XRP. A lot of these institutions are preparing for it. We saw a huge amount of bigger players buy into crypto heavily right now. And we've also, studied a lot of the analysis which said that crypto is the best hedge against, the major system falling down. Gold is one, but crypto will be the next one, which is the digital one. And the only thing that could kind of save them, I would say, is just some ridiculously positive policy on crypto. However, I don't really see them doing that too much. The QE has already been very far. It also depends a little bit on what type of policy they're going to go afterwards and whether or not there will be another stimulus check and all of that and how far people are willing to act towards it. But hey, it's just a theory. It's just a thought. Let me know what you thought about it here. I think it's all really starting to rumble hard right now. It's going with another little bitty-witty pace, because these are all older articles, but they all make a lot of sense for the situation we're in right now. And all I can say, guys, is we'll see, but stay watching, all right? Keep a close eye on these markets. I'm updating you guys every single day, but still, keep close attention and send me all the stuff you want on Twitter. I'm going to check it all out. Thank you guys all for watching this video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe, and I will definitely see you guys again in another crypto video. Take care, everybody.